Tell them I'm a winner, yeah, the believer. Give thanks, so when me a bleed. Set speed, I carry on now. Big man in town, them shoulda know say me I keep it crown, yeah. Plant seeds, work feed. Well, enough of them want ready born. When the food gone so long, them run. And them can't be found. Still man fight the fight, me not give in. Day and night, me keep on building. Way of life, me breathe out, breathing. Oh, 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 oh. Tell them I'm a winner, yeah. Not pop, no, not Joe, not turn in a sinner. Oh, man, still a believer. Even if we get not come, we keep the bounce. Now see me front, I got me from a little and I grow.
Wow. Good evening, everybody. Happy Friday. Welcome to Prim and Proper Sports. Friday with the Fellas. Let me get the banners up here. I hope you guys are doing great today. And thank you, everybody, for all the likes, loves, and shares. And shout out to you, Bistrilla. Great new theme song. I love it, love it, love it. Love the way you incorporated some of the old with the new and all that good stuff. And of course, I'm Sonia, joined by J Train and Bistrilla. How are y'all doing tonight?
It's a long day.
Definitely a long day. Definitely a long day. Let me pull these banners up. Strilla, I thought you had them ready to go. I'm sitting here like looking for them. All right. So you guys make sure you download the Roku app and follow us on National Streaming Sports. Cost without the cost of cable, of course, 24/7 Sports. And subscribe to us on YouTube and all that good stuff. Let me take a moment real quick to thank everybody for all the personal support you all have given me today on my recommitment this morning, my baptism. I've had a very long day, but so grateful to have been granted the opportunity. Shout out to Neldra and BJ and Trina, my tribe, and of course Lawson that joined me so early, literally at sunrise this morning. And so grateful for all of you guys who have been sharing and messaging me on all of that. All right, guys, take it away with the sports. I know you guys were talking about playoffs. I'll let you two have at it for a
second.
Playoffs. So right now we have the Indiana Pacers and the OKC. I can't talk today. Oklahoma Thunder are playing, and the Pacers are winning right now 27-24, 3:41 left in the first quarter. Pacers lead the series 2-1. They came away with a win the last game. They played really well. And J Train made me eat my words, thinking of winning 5. But you know what? After seeing Indiana play that game, though, it probably goes 7 games, but I'm giving this edge to Indiana. I really think they're going to squeak this one out over OKC. Oh, they're playing some pretty good basketball, man. I think it's inevitable. That's what it is.
Well, you got to give credit to their coach. Carlisle has the experience. He's been there in 2011, defeating the mighty Heatles in their first NBA title bout. And he seems to be doing the exact same thing he was doing. I mean, you got guys, those underachievers, or as Shaq says, the others. You got the bench players that are coming out and shining. And you look at, they had 19 turnovers on that last game, but they had 19 turnovers, but they were able to capitalize and score points, unlike OKC, the previous game, the first game when they had 25 turnovers, but it could only score 11 points. So this is something I got to go in 7. I got to stick with my pick with OKC winning in 7, but I'm not surprised if Indianapolis. When none of us can talk tonight. If Indiana can pull it out in 7, and this is a great thing for both teams, obviously, because they both once been to the finals, one in 2000 for Indiana and one in 2012 for OKC, and neither one pulled away to victory. So somebody's got to win this series, and it might be Indiana.
I've definitely been saying the entire time it was going to be Indiana. I don't know about the amount of games, but I just felt like, I've been kind of joking around about setting the pace. I feel like they've literally set the pace for their entire playoff series. And let's be clear, it's already statistically proven that whoever owns game 3 usually goes on to win the championship. And so us all, well, at least myself and B Strilla being from the East, definitely rooting for the East on this one. I mean, J Train, of course, lives here now. So of course I'm sure he's, who you got? You rooting for the Pacers as well, J Train, or you just feel like they'll actually be able to pull it out?
No dog in this fight. I just like seeing a good series, and I think contrary to the ratings that they're getting, whoever's not watching the game, they're missing out on the good series. It's a really good series. I think it's evenly matched. I like seeing good basketball. I don't, like I said, I don't have a dog in this hunt. Um, I just think, or in this fight, I just think that I'd like to. I don't like people shutting down in Indiana as if they weren't any good, or they were like slaw coming in here, and they're not slaw. They're really a good team, and so I think, and they're up 2-1, and whoever wins tonight will go on and win the series. Whoever wins tonight will go on and win the series.
I
Yeah,
think
good
if
evening to
Indiana
you,
wins
Richard.
tonight,
Thank
they're
you
winning
so
the
much.
series.
Good evening
But I
to
don't
you,
know about
Richard. I'm sorry. Good evening, Richard. Thank you so much for joining us. Yep, Friday the 13th. So he's turning in early. Plus, we got an 8 o'clock show. That 8 o'clock show is rough, y'all. I'm gonna be honest. Like waking up on a Saturday like that is like, okay. And what's up to you, Monkey? Good to see you both. And of course, Genzer, thank you guys for joining us tonight. I'm sorry, B Striller. What were you saying? I was trying to greet people as they were coming in because I thought it was a moment.
Well, I feel that if OKC wins tonight, which I think they will, because they never really lose 2 games in a row. They haven't been doing that at all this season, a couple times. But if they win tonight, it's still going to be a tight battle. I still think it goes 7. If Indiana wins, how the 6 might change to them. So we're winning in 6. But we'll see. I mean, it's a tight game right now. As far as
30-31, 1 point. First quarter game just started. 1 minute left in the first quarter, but it went like that. Their last matchup, tit for tat, the entire game. And like I've saying, Pacers are not giving up. So this is truly going to be may the best team win. No pun intended, literally.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, you got the NHL news. Of course, those playoffs are also going on. The finals: Florida Panthers, Edmonton Oilers. Panthers are, what are they looking to put this one away, or did they put it away last night? The Florida
Nope.
Panthers.
Oh no, Edmonton came back from a 3-0 deficit and won in overtime 5-4. Edmonton was hungry last night.
Yep.
They played a lot better than they played the first game. The first game in
Third game,
Florida.
that third game with that 6-1.
Yeah, that just
6-1. Yeah,
they were
rough.
playing all out of sorts. I don't know what team that was they came there to play, but they wasn't the Edmonton Oilers at that time. But yeah, they came in there and they took care of business. The series is tied 2-2, even though their wins have come in overtime, and that's the kind of thing that's concerning to me, because if you're just winning, I mean, a W is a W at the end of the day, but at the same time, you're barely winning the games. You have to win in overtime to win, and Florida's already showed you they can dominate a game. Mm-hmm. So I mean, I like Edmonton. I want Edmonton to win because they're a Canadian team, and a Canadian team needs to win. It's been a long time, like 30 years since a Canadian team has won the Stanley Cup. I mean, hell, that's where hockey came from. So let's give it to Edmonton. I want them to win, but I don't have no dog in this fight either because I'm a Red Wings fan. So, but it's gonna be a highly and this could go 7. I'm thinking 7.
Yeah, I do. I really believe that now too. I mean, it could really go either way, especially with them coming back 2-2. Tied series is always giving them a little bit of juice. Leon Draisaitl scored the overtime winner last night in that game, and he was the savior. And then you got, of course, Connor Hellebuck, first goalie since 2015 to win both the Hart and Vezina trophies. Big guys that are playing and coming up when it's necessary to keep both of their teams relevant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Reinhardt's been playing pretty well he's been picking his game up for Florida. So these are the things that you got to watch. And when these players from Florida start picking up their game, and like right now they're basically on cruise control. They have their share of scoring, but as Sam Reinhart and Matthew Tkachuk, they start picking up their game a little bit more. They have Florida is deep. They have a bench. They have a third and fourth line. That's something that Edmonton doesn't have. They have a first and a second line, and maybe partially a third, but they're not as deep as Florida. And Florida has shown you that that depth can kill you. And that's the thing that I'm looking at. That might be the ender for Edmonton. They just don't have the depth, and then those players get tired. It's just like with any other professional sports series. You get tired over that time. And all these guys aren't young. Majority are, but you still have your older guys out there on the ice too. So, and hockey's a very extremely stressing sport as far as physicality goes. I mean, you got to skate, you get hip checked, thrown into the boards. Got to watch out for pucks coming whizzing by your nose, high sticks, all that kind of stuff. It's a lot of stuff to deal with when you're playing hockey. Like they're unsung sports heroes to me, hockey players.
Yeah, so they'll be meeting up again tomorrow night at 8:00. So that's going to be a big matchup. And I really think whoever takes that game is going to take the rest of the series, because once you have a tied situation in any competition, it's kind of like the aggressor hurries and gets ahead of the curve, so to speak. And so I'm really thinking that this is going to be an all-out battle for that position on tomorrow night at 8:00. Let's see, make sure you got it. Yenser says Florida plays that boring trap defense most of the time. Yes, kind of like watching paint dry for real. He's right on that, Yenser. All right, guys. So
that defense, but you can't say they're boring, Yenser, because they've been scoring 6 goals, 5 goals, 4 goals, 3 goals. How often do you see that highest score in a Stanley Cup playoff?
But I mean, you even mentioned it was over 80 minutes of penalties.
That was on Edmonton. Right, that was Edmonton,
but I'm saying that kind of slows the game down. If you have that many penalties, that's when to me it becomes boring. I'm like, listen, go ahead, hurry up and take your L, or hurry up and get your dub. Let's move on.
That has nothing to do with trap defense by Florida, though. That has to do.
I know.
Edmonton being undisciplined. That's what that had to do with.
Yeah, I'm talking about the boring aspect. Like once I'm just like, okay, I'll check back later. But made a better team win, of course. I really don't want Florida to win because they eliminated my Canes. And but then again, I guess we're supposed to pull for the American team over the Canadian team, but may the better team win. I'll just say that. Let's move on to some NFL news. J-Train, congratulations. The Saints signed Cam Akers. I guess it's congratulations to a 1-year deal. What are your thoughts on that?
He's got some I think he still has some juice left. He's young. He's relatively young. He's like 26, I believe. Former second round draft pick. Florida State, I believe. Is that where he came out of? Yeah, I think so.
I know he.
I think so. I mean, he played for the Rams. He got a championship. Tore an Achilles, ruptured an Achilles, and bounced back a little bit. Bounced around between Minnesota and Houston.
Florida State, yeah.
Yep, I think he's gonna just add to a body to the running back room. I really like where we are. I like Alvin Kamara. I like Kendre Miller, former third round draft pick. And what Kellen Moore is trying to do is build that lineup and run the ball and spare the rookie or the second year quarterback the headache of trying to throw the ball more, but more rely on their run offense and you pull 8 guys into the box. And I like it. They can spell each other. I mean, all 3 guys can play. I think Kamara's going to be a starter. You got the other 2 running backs will be behind him. And man, I really like what's going on here offensively. I think we need some help defensively. But I've been watching minicamp, which is, again, like Bistrilla said, nobody's in pads full. Nobody's tackling. Nobody's really doing anything. So you got to take that kind of thing with a grain of salt. But Saints are not. I don't think Saints are going to be what everybody thinks they are. I think they got them projected to be at the bottom. I disagree with that. I think that.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think they're probably going to be more middle of the road, and then might surprise a couple of teams here and there. They don't have any primetime games. They really got them projected all the way at the bottom. I just don't. I don't agree that they're at the top. I don't agree they're in the top 10. I just think they might be middle of the road. And then of course we're getting a coach who has success wherever he's gone, and I wouldn't be surprised if you get 9 wins out of this season.
I will say this. Of course, the Panthers didn't get any primetime games last season because they projected us to be at the bottom. And we only got 4 wins for the season. So rightly so, but we were improving. I'm a little concerned. I want to kind of go back to Cam Akers for a second. I'm concerned when I see a player move to as many teams as many years they've been in the league. And Cam Akers has only been in the league since 2020. And you guys are the 5th team that he's with. He's literally been with the Rams, the Vikings. I'm sorry, you guys are the 4th team. Excuse me. Rams, Vikings, Texans, and now you guys. Almost in as many seasons. And I get he has had an injury, but it just makes me feel like teams are not trusting him to still bring that same type of energy and play to the team that he once did. And for him to still be young, I'm sure an Achilles is a very horrific injury to come back from, especially in his position. But he had a great season in 2022 where he had 786 yards and 7 touchdowns. And he did not only have, this is the thing that a lot of people don't realize, he had 2 Achilles injuries. So that right there has significantly impacted him. But I guess I just don't like how teams kind of gave up on him and kind of passed him along to the next team. I don't think, that they really trusted him. And I think that's why the Saints only gave him a 1-year contract. Because if you've had 2 Achilles, and I don't know if it was on different feet or legs or whatever, that is significant to come back from and be able to perform at your best.
Well, that's the reason why he's been on so many teams. He's not there to start. Now, those teams that he went to, he wasn't there to start. He was to be a spellback. Now when he's with Minnesota, he was a spellback. Yeah, spellback. He's not a one that's going to start for you. He can in a pinch if your running back goes down, but they're not counting on the running back going down. They're counting on him just being a spellback. In fact, the running back that you got behind Kamara is who?
Kendre Miller.
Is he
out
a
of
rookie?
TCU? No. This will be his 3rd season.
Well, he'll probably get more majority of the carries actually, and Akers will just be there to spell either one of them,
which should be good because my thing is in 2024 he's shown some juice. He's shown juice. He was a spellback for Aaron Jones in Minnesota. So he's got some juice left. It's just that, like you said, he's injury prone, and those are 2 major injuries that you have to be concerned with. But we don't need him to be what he was in LA when he was with the Rams. We just need him to be, like you said, because if you look at the highlights, if you look at the plays, he is a 1 jump cut runner, and he's a wide zone, out zone, wide out zone or in zone runner. He can run. He can hit the gaps. He can hit the holes like you need him, but you just need him like for a spell. That's it. You don't need him to start.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
I want to address, Jens just put a comment in here about Shedeur Sanders, and I had to fact check it. He said, Browns fans track made up stats for Shedeur Sanders at minicamp. How pathetic is that? So I looked, of course, there's an article by Sports Illustrated, very credible source, just came out 11 hours ago, that basically they said the headline is Cleveland Browns quarterback Shedeur Sanders slammed with a loser take. He's been hit with a rather rough assessment is the subpart of that. I don't know. They're talking about the quarterback competition up there. He was widely viewed as the Browns quarterback of the future, even if Gabriel was taken 2 rounds ahead of him. However, performance-wise, I mean, I know it's OTAs, mini camps, and all that stuff. They're saying Gabriel actually appears to be ahead of Sanders on the depth chart right now. He's the one getting the first team reps in off season because he's produced better work than Shador has. So
OTAs. I don't. Anything that has to do with OTAs, I don't throw a grain of salt like Jane. I do not
well,
throw a
if
grain
it's
of
a
salt
rookie,
at.
you got to though. You got to when you got 4 quarterbacks competing.
Not necessarily. No.
Yeah, I think you mean
Training camp
training
is
camp.
what's going to
Training camp.
show that stuff.
And
when they
so
got pads
what's
on, when
mini
they're actually
training
making
camp?
a
What's
plan.
going on now with these?
There's no pads, no defensive lines charging the quarterbacks. Everybody just standing there free for all. I'm playing touch football. You don't touch the quarterback. You don't really touch them in practice, but you let them know that hey, I'm coming at you, and you can tell if it's a sack or not. And so yeah, that's when it really starts to show itself when it's live action.
Mm-hmm. When they have to play other teams too in that live action, you know they do their practices with other teams, and it gets chippy. You'll see the competition rise. So we'll see in training camp. OTAs are not a measurement by any means.
Yeah, but I just had, you know me, I'm gonna bite it, whatever, just to make sure. Because I mean, after all, Shamar Stewart left camp over contract. He's like, I'm out.
Let's talk about this.
That's crazy.
Let's talk about that.
You left.
Now,
left.
What I will say, I don't blame. And mind you, he's got 4.5 sacks total per production, but he was still drafted by a team that thought they can get away with something here. The Browns are a little sneaky. They're a little sneaky. They try to do a little bit to Trey Hendrickson. I kind of agree with them with the Trey Hendrickson thing, but at the same time, this has just been going on. Jesse Bates, he left because of trade disputes. Carson Palmer, just a lot of stuff with money. The Bengals are just who they are. They're who they are. And unfortunately, there's some verbiage that they put into the contract that says that even if Shamar Stewart were to do an illegal hit, they could take guarantees away. I don't blame him. I don't want you taking my guarantees over something. I need my money just to be my money. Pay me. Don't try to take anything. Just try to sneak around. You drafted me at number 17 overall, Bengals. Don't bungle around. Pay me my money and let me go on and try to produce and show you that I'm worth the 17th overall pick. Other than that, they're trying to get over here. And I don't blame them. That if that's the case, that they're trying to take that verbiage and put it into the contract that we can take guaranteed monies away in the future if there's something we don't like about you. That's not what they're the only team that's doing that. No, of course not. I wouldn't take that either.
He went on social media and said that they're about trying to win battles. That's what he said. Like now they want to remove that. But B. Strill and I talked about that last night on the No BS show. And I'm gonna be honest, and B. Strill and I actually kind of agree. I get that, you know, they invested all their money in their offense. They don't have no money nowhere else. But this guy has not played a down in the NFL. You have all these points and stuff, and kudos to you in college. But to come in making demands and you haven't even made the practice squad yet, they've not finalized their first round of cuts yet. And you're already saying I'm out, then I guess you need to be out. There's somebody else at home that would love to be where you are.
I just don't the guarantee. I'm sorry, B. The verbiage though in the history of the Bengals is what makes me a little alarmed here. Mm-hmm. At first, I thought what you thought. I think like, well, wow, why is this guy? He don't have no production in college. Why is he sitting out? But when that came out about that verbiage, how you want to take money, this is why they take a specific player like this so they can try to, pull an okie doke. They want to take their hands from behind their back, hit him, and then hide their hands. Yes, exactly. That's what he said. They want to make an example of him for future players. I mean, that's not what I would do. If I'm him and he's my agent, there's no way I'm letting you put that kind of verbiage in my contract. Because first of all, what's the guarantee that I'm going to get any other future contract anyway? Maybe I have a major injury or something like that. No, just like all the other players. And this is what the collective bargaining agreement says as well. They took the money. It used to be these players were getting hand over fist money, but collective bargaining agreement has brought it down. But they're giving them guaranteed money. You're supposed to give me guaranteed money. You can't take my guarantees away. That's what the collective bargaining agreement is for. No, I disagree with that. Regardless of the play, my thing is him not having a plan down doesn't mean anything because they selected him. They selected him, and you're supposed to negotiate what you're going to get paid. That's what it is. And I just wouldn't play either. Now, here's the thing: if he doesn't play or sign his contract by August 5th, they can't trade him. If he doesn't sign his contract by November 11th or something like that, whatever date it is in November, if he decides to go back to college, or if he decides to enter the draft again or go to some other team, they have the rights. They have the rights to him, and he can't play. He can't play after November 11th this season. He can't play. He won't be able to play at all. He'll be grounded.
That'll be screwed up. Striller, what are your thoughts?
Well, yeah, Cincinnati's not the greatest on a lot of that stuff. I agree with that. But at the same time, the CBA.
Jay traded out like he had to take a big gulp. I'm laughing because he's like.
But yeah, Cincinnati has their ways, but I haven't seen the NFLPA come out and say anything against the CBA that's been written for him. So until I see that, I'm not deeming anything illegal that they're doing. Okay, they can do all the sneaky stuff they want to, but if it's in the confines of what the CBA is and what the NFLPA is looking at, then what can I say? So
I agree with you. I agree with you.
It's still on Shamar. I understand he thinks he's getting gutted. I understand that. But at the same time, that's what you got an agent for. The agent can come out there and duke it up with him and say, look, my player is out there busting his behind. See, you got to put some credibility behind of what you're trying to do, right? So he's complaining about his contract being full of all these incentives that are taking away his guarantee money. Well, go out there and just play football. Go out there. It's OTAs. You're not going to be doing anything anyway. When you get into mini camp, you're not really going to be doing much in mini camp either. Once you get to training camp, that's when the seriousness has to start. But in the meantime, be there. Show that your other teammates that you're going to be there, regardless of what the situation is. You really are going to put the onus on the owners and the people that are having him sign his contract, because they're going to put pressure on him. The agent will go in there. If his agent is a good agent, he'll go in there and say, look, take this stuff out of his contract. If you don't take this stuff out of his contract, we will find a way to screw you somehow. So you just, don't do that. This man's coming into camp every day playing. See, when you have a guy do that and he walks away from camp, it's not a good look for him because he's a rookie. That's the thing. All these veteran players, Hendrickson, like you said before, the safety that went to Atlanta, those guys are veterans. So, they think, Cincinnati is not a great, I don't know what the heck their problem is with signing players, or why they got to be so cheap. I don't know what that's going. I don't know.
They gave all their money to their offense. So that's the big three.
Well, yeah, I can't say they're being cheap because they did give off all their offense the money, but
that's only because Joe Burrow stepped in and said you got to pay them. Pretty much, he put them on. He threw them under the bus virtually, saying, "Pay my guys. This is what you get." And he also said it for Trey Hendrickson. But this is my thing with Shamar Stewart. Why draft me? This is what you're going to do. Don't draft me. If I'm a player, look, I could have went second round or third round, but you picked me 17th overall. Regardless of my history, regardless of what I didn't produce or not, you elected to pick me. But don't try to come now and do some stuff and expect me to accept it. Especially when I'm looking at the people you did before. You didn't do this with the guy before me.
Yeah, that's what I was
saying. Yeah, you didn't do this with the guy before me, but now you're going to do it with me now. What is that? No, I need to get my money, man. So I don't want to come out here now. What he could do, like you said, D. Striller, he could come out, sign a waiver, and like there's a couple players I think that did that. They still haven't negotiated their contract, but they did sign a waiver to go ahead and practice. So I mean, he could do that, but I mean, there could be risk of injury too, and you haven't even signed a contract to get your money. It's just I don't know. I just think I'd rather hold out if it was me.
All right, guys. J Train, let's definitely come back to that. Strilla, thank you everybody for the first half. We got to take a small commercial break here. J Train definitely onto something here because I didn't even know about all that. We'll be back, guys, in about 1.5 minutes.
Yeah, yo, it's game time. Ain't no messing around. Huddle Sports Network, the best in town. From NFL rumors to the latest trends, we got all your sports. Just tune in, my friends. Catch us on Roku, Fire Stick, take your pick. Facebook, YouTube, where the action's slick. Daily shows that drop like a bomb. From 10 to 11, it's Ken and Ken. Stay calm. Huddle up, catch the vibe, feel the rush. Get your news, get your fills in the clutch. Over 27 podcasts, we breaking it down. Join the team, Huddle Sports, wear the crown. Live every weekday, it's how we roll. Lions Talk with Jeremy B, we taking a stroll. From 11 to 12, don't miss a beat. We break down the game, make the info sweet. The Daily Huddle Podcast, noon to 1. CST Zone, we're just having fun. Toss your doubts, we bring the facts. Tune into the Huddle.
Introducing National Streaming Sports, live and on-demand sports talk programming that you can access 24/7. For the premier sports talk experience, tap into our Roku channel. Start your mornings with Mac and Jack covering all the weekend sports action. Then pour a cup and enjoy all the sports you can drink on the Coffee and Sports podcast. At midday, talk sports from east to west on the Coast to Coast podcast. Followed at night by some hot girl talk with Prim and Proper Sports featuring Sonia Pearson. Talk boxing on the Gloved Fist. Yankee fans tune in for Start Spreading the News. And there's more on the College Sports Huddle and Sports Scope with Robert Butler. There are 20 podcasts in all and 70 weekly shows giving us a 3.4-star viewer rating. To find us on Roku TV, search for National Streaming Sports on the Roku search bar. Click on the logo and you're in. National Streaming Sports, live and on-demand sports talk for America.
And we're back. Thank you, guys. Joining Bistrilla. Am I here? Yeah.
Yeah, you're here.
I was like, I saw J Train looking around. I'm like, am I not on screen?
I was just looking at the switch. Switch.
Oh, I don't know how that happened. So let's take care of that. All right.
Okay, well, yeah.
I like to be on bottom. All right, because it's just one of me. So there you go. I don't know. That don't sound all right, guys. Anyway, oh my gosh, listen.
You just went through a baptism.
That went south real fast.
I can't even fix it. So sorry. All right. Listen. So, all right. This is the second half of our show. Proven Proper Sports here, of course. Friday with the fellas. Got Bistrilla and J Train, and I'm Sonya, of course. So I mean, Shamar Stewart, guys. That's where we left off. J Train, very passionate about this young man taking a stance for basically having his pockets looking like rabbit ears, in the words of Biggie Smalls, because he's coming out with nothing right now, and he left camp because they can't seem to work out a contract. And I'm gonna be honest, both of you guys, when I first heard it, I thought he just kind of sounded entitled. He was like, y'all didn't do this with the dude before me, and I know I'm better than that dude. And I was just like, well, we haven't even seen you play. But now that I'm hearing the whole story or the rest of the story, it kind of makes more sense. But Strilla, what were your thoughts on that? I mean, J Train had
I'm still, you're a rookie in the NFL. Okay. You do have to really lead by example. You have to show yourself. So he shouldn't have walked away. Either get in his agent's behind and say, hey, what's going on, bro? Are you taking care of me or what? Because this is getting ridiculous. I'm in OTAs and I'm still fighting for my contract. What are you not saying or doing? Either he's gonna have to fire his agent, get a new agent, or kick him in the butt and get him to go and talk to these people. Because I'm telling you what, if his agent was Drew Rosenhaus, there wouldn't be no conversations right now. Cincinnati would be under the table. So yeah, I just think it's an agent thing. I think that he's not throwing his agent under the bus, which is a good thing. But at the same time, dude, just sign your waiver, go to your OTAs, your just little things and before training camp, and hopefully that you can get your agent, or your agent will, bend them out so they can pay him out.
If I'm Shamar Stewart, I'm living like the player from Remember the Titans. Attitude reflects leadership. And as my man told Strong Side, attitude reflects leadership, meaning I'm not doing anything that you're not supposed to be doing. So if Trey Hendrickson's not out here doing what he's supposed to be doing, why should I? Especially if I'm coming into an organization that has a history of doing their players dirty with the money.
Again, Hendrickson is a veteran.
He's been there.
He is a rookie. Can't do that. Sorry, this is not. I just don't see that happen. You should. I mean, understandably, Cincinnati's having issues. Okay, with his contract. Understandably, but don't be a crybaby and walk off and say, "I'm not gonna play no more because they got my contract back." No. Go in there, be a man. Be the rookie that you are. Be a standout. Be in OTAs. Do your job until your agent says, "You know what, dude, just go sit out." Your agent is supposed to have you under his best interest. So because he makes commission from you as an agent. So if he goes in there and fights for you, like I said, if this was Drew Rosenhaus that was his agent, we wouldn't even be hearing about this, because this would have been taken care of. I'm telling you, it's the agent. And Shamir's just not throwing him under the bus, which is good. That's one of the best things he's doing right now. Not doing that. Agent needs to go in there and start slapping somebody's face. That's what he needs to be doing. Say, hey, this contract, man, rewrite this contract. My player ain't gonna be playing for you for this. Nope. And so he ain't gonna be in training camp.
The organization, though, this is the thing. They have a history of doing this, and they usually win. They took a couple of L's this season. I mean, in the offseason, because of their quarterback. They have no choice but to take L's because the quarterback is balling out. And if the quarterback's calling them out, saying this is what I want and this is what we're going to do with our offense, you got to take care of my guys. They have no other choice but to take care of their guys. But they got that offense is going to have to score 60 points a game because this defense is not they're missing in action.
I mean, they just got rid of Pratt. Just signed with the Raiders. Hendrickson's they're having contract dispute. I don't even know if Hendrickson's going to play. Shamar Stewart's not going to probably play. During training camp, he's not going to be there, which I'll understand that. But at the same time, where's the defense coming from? Nowhere.
Yenter said if Shamar re-enters the draft, that's going to look bad for his draft stock. And
of course,
I'll say this: they said until he gets injured with no contract, then you're like, why did he play without a contract? That's actually a good point.
Well, I
will say this, guys. His agent is Zach Hiller. I was trying to look it up because we talked about it a couple of days ago. From a group, the agency's name, they usually use the acronym, but I found out what the acronym. Y'all are gonna start laughing when I tell you what the acronym the name stands for. So it's LAA Sports Agency, and LLA stands for Loyalty Above All Sports Agency. If this don't sound like a Rudy Poo neighborhood corner agent, and I don't know who this dude is. I don't think he even represents anybody else. But this is the thing. Shamar, just like I said, it's like you go to a job on your first day and you see somebody that you don't come back for an hour for lunch, and everybody else comes back an hour. But this person's been there 10 years and it's just what they do. and nobody says anything to them because they've put in their time. If they want to take 15 minutes over, who's going to tell? You can't come in as a new employee and just automatically start saying, well, I see him taking an hour and 15 minutes, so I'm going to do an hour and 15 during my 90 days of probation, mind you. This is what's happening with Shamar Stewart. And if I can't take this hour and 15 minutes, then I'm just going to go home and hopefully they won't fire me. No, this is exactly what's happening.
The two players that he's handled, Zachary Hiller, the agent, is Dalvin Cook and J.K. Dobbins.
Oh my
God! Not exactly
that
two players that have been big names in the NFL. I mean, Dalvin Cook has for a minute, but then he started going all over the place.
Yeah,
nobody wants him now.
The cook is burnt up. Yeah.
J.K. Dobbins is about the only one that's surviving this whole situation because he just signed to be a backup in Denver. So
I don't know. Maybe he's the next Jerry Maguire. Maybe this is his Rod Tidwell, and he's going to be the ambassador of his Quan.
Show me the money.
He's going to be the ambassador of his Quan. And show me the money. I love black people.
Purdy had a relatively new agent, and I missed this comment earlier. Hang tight, guys. Steve-O said that it took T. Higgins 2 years of franchise tags. Wow. I don't know. All right, guys, we got about 19 minutes left, so let's get into the juicy part of the NFL, what everybody's been waiting for. So, no shocker here. Antonio Brown, once again, in trouble with the law. Now, y'all remember back in May. If you don't, it was right around Mother's Day weekend, right afterwards, so to speak. He got into this incident in Miami where he claimed that he was robbed by several people, or jumped, in his words, by several individuals who tried to steal his jewelry. Now, a judge in Miami-Dade County went ahead and signed an arrest warrant it was either today or yesterday. And they're going to give him a bond. They've already said, hey, just turn yourself in, sir. We are now serving an arrest warrant for you for attempted murder. There's a victim that has identified Antonio Brown as the shooter, said he knew Brown since 2022, and he was grazed in the neck by one of the bullets that Brown fired, and he was treated at a hospital. Cell phone video has come forward capturing 2 shots being fired. So they got AB shooting on somebody's cell phone. That's the video evidence as he is approaching the victim, so not the other way around. If this happened the way Brown is saying, it looks like those guys relented, and then in a response, Brown decides to pursue and approach one of the original attackers, and he shoots twice. He could have killed this guy. A neck graze, gunfire right after midnight. He had already been detained by off-duty security officers and witnesses in the area where he was. I mean, you're Antonio Brown. Everybody knows who you are. They identified you. Then surveillance video from cameras on the streets came out showing this altercation with Brown and one other person, not a group of people. And then you see Brown only retrieve a firearm from a security officer and runs after the guy himself. Nothing about him being jumped, no group of men whatsoever. Judge says, you know what? Sign the arrest warrant.
I mean, are you surprised? I'm sure they know that.
Well, I mean, there is video footage where he did get jumped, right? But all this happened afterwards. I saw the video footage of him getting jumped.
How many men was it?
It was more than one. It was definitely more than one. It was getting jumped. But my thing is, it still happened afterwards. So it still happened. It's just like the situation with Sean Kemp getting robbed. I mean, you waiting too late to do this kind of stuff, man. It's premeditated.
Oh, 2 separate incidents.
Yeah.
So
it's
the law says if you have a way to flee, you flee. That's your first response. Your first response is you fight or flee in that moment. If you have an opportunity to flee and retrieve something else, then you had an opportunity to get away. So that's what y'all
Right.
saying happening here.
Yeah. Absolutely. So yeah, he waited too late to do it. I mean, he didn't have it wasn't right off the bat because it got broken up. It got they separated him from them, but then he wanted to retaliate. That's pretty much what it was. And he hit. If that's true that he hit the guy's neck, and man, he's in trouble.
2 shots, and they said one grazed his neck. 2 shots they got. Somebody's film on there, and this is the thing: they don't even think Antonio Brown is in the United States right now. The word is they think he's on the lam, literally, because he knew that this warrant was coming down. I mean, they're giving you a $10,000 bond and going to put you on house arrest. I mean, what? I don't know. Let me just insert this in here. I know for a fact that ever since that YSL case that was here in Atlanta, people are on edge about being taken into custody for these big crimes and being promised a bond or thinking they can get a bond, and then they're not, and they're sitting for 2 years waiting for their trial to come up. We see this with a lot of celebrities. Rayshawn Bennett, aka YFN Lucci, pushed somebody. He got into a altercation with another person. The other person, they got out on the highway. The other car shot into his car and unalived his passenger. And he opens the door and pushes the passenger out of his car. Broad daylight. Everybody know who you are. You're a rapper here in Atlanta. Everybody knows you, and they know your car. And he sat for almost 3 years waiting on a trial for a bullet that he didn't even fire. And it was alleged, that when he first got in, he was going to be in and out. Antonio Brown is probably thinking about something along those same lines. And he's like, you know what? I'm in Cuba. I'm not even in Miami right now. They literally are saying they don't even think he's in the U.S. because he recently posted a social media video that looked like he was somewhere in the Middle East. They do a lot of backdrops and stuff. And AI, you got to be careful. AI is for real. Mm-hmm. But the news outlets said, U.S. Marshals are looking for him, which means this is now outside of Florida.
Well, let me tell you, if CTE is affected him, it didn't this time. He got some common sense and got out of Dodge. I'm not saying he should be gone, but look, maybe he thinks something like you said. I don't want to be sitting in jail for something that 2 years before I even get to trial.
Yeah,
I mean, and then who knows if there's any like more than me about Rico. I mean, because he's had some trouble with some other stuff prior to.
Let me tell you something. If he gets the RICO, that's federal, and RICO is the Racketeering and Influence Crime Act, crime that brings in a whole nother stuff. Some jurisdictions request 20 years off the rip for that.
Yeah, well, like I said, I don't think anybody's surprised this has happened with AB. He's been all over the place. So I was just expecting this to come up one day because, he's wilding out. He's been wilding out for the last 3 years. And I was like, yep. I said, it's going to end up him shooting somebody because he's going nuts. So he's going to shoot somebody or attempt to shoot somebody and get caught on it. And he's going to be like, bye.
So I just looked
he's going to come back to the States.
Yep. So I don't even, I can't be on here engaging or not engaging because of my job and because of law school. I can't ever have nobody pull a clip where I said I agree or disagree with what somebody's doing. I did look up the Florida penalty for attempted first-degree murder. So in other words, you ain't even got to take the person out. This is a level 9 offense under Florida's criminal punishment code, and it carries, if you're convicted, life imprisonment without parole, and the person doesn't even pass away. If he gets convicted of a lesser offense, which would be, say, second-degree attempted, he's still going to be facing 15 years and a fine of $10,000. And then you may get another additional 15 years of probation. So either way, he's looking at least 15 years for the lesser of the included offense, which is second degree. So I didn't know. I heard that Florida is rough, but they tell you if they can prove that you had premeditation and a deliberate intent, just the intent, you're getting life in prison without parole. So I guess you just get the death penalty if the person passes away. That is
Well,
wild.
let me ask you this, Sonya, since you have the law experience. Uh, I know that Florida is a stand your ground state. Would his defense, if he does come back to the states and turn himself in, would his defense try to make this a stand your ground situation?
So stand your ground, from my understanding, is generally if it's involving your personal property. That's chapter 776 from Florida. You in that particular, you don't have a duty to retreat, but you guys have already said he retreated. That's the issue right there. He left and came back. He fled and instead came back. If the altercation was still ongoing, that's when stand your ground comes in, because he has to have a legal opportunity to be able to retreat. But if he did not have to, then he's not legally bound to have been forced to retreat. Like if he decides, like, I'm not going to run, I'm just going to fight my way out of this, that's when stand your ground comes into play for him. But because he left, went home, made himself a manwich and some French fries, and then got his weapon and came on back, that's where the problem is.
Why you gotta make a manwich?
Because that's what he gonna
It's a fries.
With a sesame seed bun.
Yes. Yes. And I'm gonna tell you this, guys. This is the thing. I know for Georgia law, you have to meet force with force. So whatever the level of force is that you're met with, that's the only force the law allows you to have as a defense. So say, for instance, these guys came in here and all they did was use their hands. He is not allowed to use a weapon to defend himself unless it's a group of them, like he said, but then there's no surveillance. He could only meet hand with hand. He can't, like they say, he can't bring a knife. He can't bring a gun to a knife fight, the opposite of what people say. Then he has justifiable force if he felt like he himself was in imminent danger of being unalived. Now, him being robbed, did he feel like he was being unalived?
Right.
You gotta ask AB.
Not at that time. If the footage is, well, from what I saw, two separate moments. I agree with what you both are saying. If it's two separate moments, and he shot that guy, and later on, it looks like premeditation. And so, yeah, he's in trouble if that's the case.
It's kind of like the pop the trunk law. I'll be back. I'm popping the trunk. I'll be back.
Yeah, literally. This user said, "I speak for all Steelers fans. We do not claim AB." Let me just tell you something. And someone else, I know personally, I had a cousin, unfortunately, that was unalived when I was in college, and he had gotten into an incident in our neighborhood with someone else, and that person left the park and went, I guess, to their house, which was in the area, and came back with a weapon and unalived him on the spot, and he was convicted.
That's murder. Yeah, that's
homicide. You left, and so it's the same thing. If you leave the scene of where an incident occurred, and the law tells you, if at all reasonable, you have an opportunity to flee rather than unalive somebody, you are to flee. Like a reasonable person. Like if me or you say, okay, you know what? I'm AB. I know I could outrun these dudes. Then that's what you better do. And the whole world knows he's AB. And that's the thing that's going to work against him. You're not just a lay person. You are a trained, even though you've been out the league, you are trained to run. And the fact that not only did he just leave, but then left and came back, and you shot at this dude twice, and they don't even mention him having a weapon. That's the problem. They're calling him a victim, y'all. That lets you know. And the judge was like, okay, for whatever that video produced, for a Miami judge to just say, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and sign the warrant, that lets you know there's evidence enough to bring them in.
Well, I wonder how far was he away from the alleged victim when he shot at him?
I don't know. They said there's a video of him approaching and shooting, pulling out a gun from a security guard. You pulled a weapon off of somebody else. Like, what is he watching? This wasn't even his own weapon. It's like he pulled it off of like a.
That'll get him in all kinds of trouble right there.
Yeah, They said that he was being detained, and in I guess that moment of being detained, he snatched a weapon. Sir, you are literally unhinged. You've been watching too many BMFs or something. Power. You've been watching too many. So nobody's claiming him. Oh yeah,
maybe CTE has it.
There's a comment. He took the security guards. See, told you.
Oh, he in trouble.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, and then you. The reason why I asked how many feet away he was from the victim, the alleged victim. I mean, you shot twice, dude, and you didn't. I'm not trying to make light of the situation. I'm not. But dude, you didn't hit him, but you grazed him once, and you shot at him twice. I want to know what distance you were when you tried to shoot at him, because that could work against him in the court. I mean, that can work with him in the court of law, because it's like, well, he was right on him, and he could have shot him point blank, and unalived him right there. But at the same time, he missed and he grazed the guy. The only thing is he grazed the guy, so that's basically harmful intent.
So let me give y'all the rundown, because I just pulled up the article. We might have to go a couple minutes over tonight, but just a couple, y'all, because we got, this is my alley. NFL and the law all in one. Yes.
And we ain't even talk about Jimmy Ward yet.
No. Altercation and fight. Surveillance video of an incident shows Brown punching another person, which escalated into a fight. They don't say nothing about no robbery. They said he got into a verbal altercation and he threw the first punch with several individuals. They got video surveillance. And then security got involved to try to break up the fight and, quote, regain control of Brown. During the scuffle, the arrest warrant states Brown appears to retrieve a black firearm from the right hip of one of the security officers during the scuffle and decided to let off the firearm. After obtaining the weapon, Brown ran after he broke free from the security guard and ran after the person that he started the fight with, and cell phone footage is showing him running and shooting towards the victim. These incidents are detailed in the arrest warrant. So this don't sound like no robbery at all.
Yeah,
they said a verbal altercation.
Yeah, he's effed. He comes back here, he's going straight to jail. Without the you're gonna drop the.
Do not pass code. Do not pass code. Do not collect $200.
No, you can't collect nothing.
He's
already in bad financial state. I don't know if they give him they give him some kind of bond or something like that. I don't think he's gonna be able to meet it.
$10,000. They're gonna give him house arrest
if he gets caught. Oh no, house arrest is beyond over. He's eluding and fleeing.
They're just telling him that, guys. I don't believe this. I believe they're telling him that to get him in, and and because it's just too much. They're circulating it, and this happened on May 16th outside of a boxing event. I guess he thought he was gonna box after the event. Nowhere is anything talking about him being robbed, J Train. So where's his defense? Where is his defense?
Mm-hmm.
His defense is in his plane ticket that he spent to wherever he went. He
linked up with that. He linked up with that thing. He linked up with this same dude out of Florida that they got him arrested for taking 120 flights for posing as a flight attendant. The feds are looking for him because he took 120 free flights posing as a flight attendant just to get free trips. I'm like, how?
We about to watch Bounty Hunter, Dog the Bounty Hunter. He's about to be on the case Trying to get AB.
Yeah, so
Dog
you
a
guys
bounty
heard it
hunter
here
in
first.
Saudi Arabia.
Our jurisprudence overview. But of course, let's put it out there. No, everyone is presumed innocent until found guilty. So we are not saying AB is guilty. We're just telling you what the arrest warrant says. And none should you guys say that we pronounce judgment on him. He is still innocent. He just needs to turn himself in on this, what's been documented. Strilla, you said you had some news for us too.
Oh yeah, Jimmy Ward's another guy. He decided to act like a jackass, and he got arrested at his home in Texas on family violence felony assault charges. So Ward, 33, was arrested following an incident in his home in Magnolia, Texas. Sorry about that. On Tuesday morning, including news released from Montgomery County Sheriff's Office. The assault family violence charge is a third-degree felony, according to the authorities.
First time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so they've been in contact with the club. Houston has said they are aware of the situation and they are dealing with it as needed. So Ward's fiance assaulted. He assaulted her, strangled, and threatened her. So
I know the wedding's gotta be
dude.
It's gotta be off. The wedding's gotta be over at this point. At least she didn't walk down the aisle. Please, there is no amount of counseling now that this is made mainstream that should make you walk down that aisle, ma'am.
And I guarantee you the NFL is going to leave you some punishment against those, because ever since the domestic charges, have been around, they've changed their stance on that. Yeah, he's going to go down for a while.
And what she needs to look at is the situation that happened. And no offense, Sonya, to your team, Ray Caruth. That whole situation.
Yeah.
She needs to, before it even goes any further, she needs to stay away from that. Like you said, that needs to be over.
I watched. Let me tell y'all. So and this is how I'm gonna shut down and let you guys give closing thoughts. I watched a documentary. You guys ever watch something that you just know you will never forget? I wish I'd never watched it, because I was living there during that time. You hear things, bits and pieces, but you don't really think about it because you're just like, okay, who, what? Because the team was very new then, and I wasn't super into sports like I am now. And I watched this documentary. I don't remember what, some little streaming service they had it on. That poor girl lived long enough to tell what happened. And I still don't know what really took her out, because she was in the hospital for a long time. And I just thought to myself, somebody that could survive enough to talk about it, they should have been able to pull through. But the real MVP is her mother, because her mother, despite him going to prison and all this, and her raising their now challenged son because of the wounds that he suffered in the womb of his mother, she wanted to make sure that they had a relationship. And she said a long time ago she forgave him. And I'm like, Lord, you don't put no more on us than we can bear, because if you did something to my child, there is absolutely no way. That would just have to be one that I would just have to ask you to forgive me for. To look him in the face, to know that he's going to come over, pick up his son, whatever, unless she's of the mindset of this is what you created. Now you can deal with it. You went to prison was the easy way out. Now you can come home and deal with this 21, 22-year-old that is for the rest of his life challenged because of your actions.
Mm-hmm.
I believe he has cerebral palsy, I think. Yeah.
Yes, he can't even speak. He doesn't even communicate.
Right.
It's very advanced. And he looks just like Ray. That's the thing. Looks just like him.
Wow.
All right, closing thoughts on you guys' team and the team news this week as we get ready to wrap it up and get ready for this.
Just another on a bond that Jimmy Ward posted. It was a $30,000 bond he posted to get out of jail, and compare that with a $10,000 bond to a person that's getting
that's what I'm telling you.
What's going on?
That's what I'm telling you. I don't believe it, y'all. I believe it's bait for him to come in, and then all of a sudden something hasn't been signed. It's not uncommon for something not to be, quote, signed or official, but just left in draft status. So this bond is probably in draft status, And then when he gets there, oh, I'm sorry, it hasn't been finalized yet. Oh, you don't have a bond because you took us on a wild goose chase. We've been looking for you since XYZ, and we had to come get you and get the marshals and involve all these extra forces that we've had to pay for. So there's no way. And you $10,000, that's nothing to an NFL player. Yeah,
even in his financial situation, that's nothing. They give him like a $500,000 bond, though. He ain't making that one. He ain't doing that.
This is the same dude that said he licked toilets on a plane, though.
Oh, come on.
You guys know
really,
about
that? You want to take us out on that?
On that note, yeah.
I did say that, guys. On that note, I hate to end on that note.
Just one more thing. The Pacers are leading 60-57 at the half.
Let's go Pacers. Let's go at the half. Great show, guys, as always. Thanks, Steve, Yenzer, Rick, everybody that's been joining us tonight. This will re-air at 2 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thanks for joining me. J Train and B Strill is always a great show. Strilla, you going to take us out of here with the credits?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Peace out.
Oh, wait. Strilla, your show Sunday. We said it. 4 p.m. show on Sunday, Father's Day weekend. Happy Father's Day, J Train and B Strilla. And to everybody out there, all the dads, uncles, big brothers, influencers, all that. Happy Father's Day to y'all. Strilla got a show on Sunday, right in time for Father's Day. Strilla, plug your show.
Yeah, so 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, One Ass Cheek, Three Toes. We kind of got away from all the division talk because people don't want to show their face in there because they're scared. But anyway,
but the NFC South did. We pulled up.
The NFC South pulled up, and so did the NFC East. So there you go. But we're just talking regular football. Some Lions, obviously. Also, the UFL championship is on Saturday between the Michigan Panthers and the DC Defenders. So that'll be also a topic of our conversation. So everybody, until then, have a good evening.
J Train, I'll see you in the morning at 8.
See you in the morning.
We not lose a man a winner, and that's for certain. Never take no program, come me and me own dance. So me go and shut and shut and shut. Tell them I'm a winner, yeah.